Board of County Commissioners acts as a quasi-judicial body when it hears requests for rezoning and conditional use permits. Applicants must provide competent, substantial evidence establishing facts or expert witness opinion testimony showing that the request meets the zoning code and comprehensive plan criteria. Opponents must also testify as to facts or provide expert testimony whether they like or dislike a request is not competent evidence. The board must then decide whether the evidence demonstrates consistency and compatibility with the comprehensive plan and the existing rules in the zoning ordinance, property adjacent to the property to be rezoned, and the actual development of the surrounding area. The board cannot consider speculation, non-expert opinion testimony, or poll the audience by asking those in favor or opposed to stand up or raise their hands. If a commissioner has had communications regarding a rezoning or conditional use permit request before the board, the commissioner must disclose the subject of the communication and the identity of the person, group, or entity with whom the communication took place before the board takes action on the request. Likewise, if a commissioner has made a site visit, inspection, or investigation, the commissioner must disclose that fact before the board takes action on the request. Each applicant is allowed a total of 15 minutes to present their request, unless time is extended by majority vote of the board. The applicant may reserve any portion of the 15 minutes for rebuttal. Other speakers are allowed 5 minutes to speak. Speakers may not pass their time to someone else in order to give that person more time to speak.
Good evening and welcome to the zoning meeting on July 11, 2024. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And I'd like to start with a moment of silence. And if we could, I'm not sure all of you or some of you know, but former Commissioner Nancy Higgs has passed away, so I'd like you to keep that in your mind for her family. So let's just have a moment of silence for whatever you'd like to have a moment of silence for. Okay, thank you so much. Let's stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you so very, very much. I'm not sure. We've got a couple of different announcements that we need to make on some of the agenda items, but before we get started, we had to cut our meeting short the other night, Tuesday night, and I had something that I needed to get done as a request from the board, and that was I'm traveling to Washington, D.C. with a group of 10 to 12 people on the Bright Line station, and I need the permission of the board to travel. Would somebody kindly give me? There's a motion by Commissioner Pritchett, seconded by Commissioner Tabaya. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Thank you very much. Let's go right into the public comments, and we'll go to H1. And Jeff, go ahead, man.
Thank you. Item H1 is Suzanne Cook requests a conditional use permit for a guest house in an RU1-13 zoning classification. Application number is 24Z00007. Tax account number is 2431745, located in District 2. Mr. Chair, I wanted to point out that during the Planning and Zoning Board meeting, June 10th, I mistakenly quoted the code of saying that the CUPs run with the ownership. However, that is incorrect. It runs with the land. In the agenda report, there are criteria for a guest house, and one of that criteria is that the guest house cannot be rented out, and it cannot be used for short-term rental.
Okay. Is Ms. Cook here? Yes. Suzanne, please.
Yes. And I'm Suzanne Cook. And the main problem was that we had just a few square feet short of an acre that was necessary. I do understand that I can't rent it out, and I had mentioned that casually to the fact that the economy is getting bad, and they asked me, had I changed my mind? And I said, certainly. I said, I'll just sell the property if I can't pay the bills. That doesn't bother me. So bottom line, that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Commissioner Goodson, do you have any comments?
The only comment I'd have is, as long as she understands all the conditions, I have no problems with it. And you do understand all the conditions?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Would you give us a motion, Commissioner?
Yes, I'd like to, for the approval and acceptance of this motion, or this, it's the H1? Yeah, H1, please.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The motion carries. Thank you so very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Right. Now, Jeff?
Mr. Chair,
I think maybe Commissioner Goodson, do you want to say something on
Yes.
H2 before we start?
On H2, I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearings on this till November the 7th, giving the developer a chance to go back to the residents and see if you can come to a resolution of some sort that you're acceptable with. I understand you're saying no, but let's give them 120 days. That's the motion.
Is there a second to that?
We got me and John with
Jeff,
lights.
do you want to say something first, or? Okay. Hold on, please, just hold on. Was there a second? Hearing no second, the motion fails, and let's go into Jeff, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item H2 is Frank Mastroianni requests a change of zoning classification from BU-1 and RU2-10 to PUD. Application number is 23 PUD 00001. Tax account number is 2600118, located in District 2.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
We already turned in all of our public records that I heard, except I did get a phone call today from Miss Debbie Mayfield, and mentioning about the time limit, that she had a concern over it being 120 days, so I just have to go ahead and let everybody know I did hear from Miss Mayfield.
Yes.
Also regarding application 23 PUD 00001 on July 11th, the zoning meeting, I spoke with Mr. Michael Gage via phone today. Did not have time to put it in. The call lasted approximately 5 minutes, during which we discussed his opposition to the item. So again, I just did not have time to get that submitted since it happened today.
Okay, thank
Thank
you. Anybody else?
Yes, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
If we can't give people an opportunity to go back, they're very aware of the fact they probably will not get what they requested. But we can't even allow them to have open discussions again to see if they can come to some resolution.
Okay. Please do not do this tonight, okay? I know everybody's uptight and concerned, so we're going to get through this, and we're going to do it in an adult fashion, and no talking from the audience. I would very much appreciate that. Thank you so very much. Commissioner, if you'd like to try your motion one more time, try your motion one more time.
Well, yes, I would like to try the motion again, to give them the opportunity to go back and work with these people and come back. They're going to have to come through the same process. They're going to have to come back to planning and zoning with a new idea if it's acceptable to the people.
Is there a second?
Just a quick question. I don't think that motion, if we table it till that date, I don't think that motion foresees actually going back to planning and zoning. If you're tabling it till this, there's no necessity to go back to planning and zoning.
Well, wouldn't they go back to I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
If they come up with a different zoning criteria for number of units, would they not have to go back for approval to zoning on that? I don't know. You tell me.
Well, Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
If I was looking at this, I would make that extremely clear in the motion. And I looked at that. August 14th is the zoning meeting before that, with the deadline of August 2nd of a submittal to make that November 7th date, just for clarity's sake. But that, it's probably better for staff if that was actually put in the motion. I'm not saying I'm willing to go there. I'm just saying that, I certainly wouldn't vote for it to come back here without having to go with to planning and zoning again.
You would not.
I would not.
Yeah, and I agree. I would not either.
All right, well, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Commissioner Pritchett, would you take the floor, please?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to second your motion. And discussion. So, Commissioner Pritchett, may I have the floor, please? I intend to hear everybody tonight that's here. So, you know, you're not going to come in here in vain. It's not fair to you to come out here in vain. But I'd like to get this motion passed, and then we've got a couple of very quick zoning items that can be done, and we can spend whatever time's necessary so that you can pour your heart out in regards to your request. So, I don't know whether this is going to pass or not.
Can I ask a question just for
Yes, sir.
clarification here? Are the applicants here tonight?
Oh, yeah, they're here, I believe. Is Michael Gage the applicant?
No,
Okay.
no.
No. Mr. Chair?
Yes.
For the audience who showed up in this item, first of all, thank you for showing up. Second of all, I greatly apologize to you guys. You got a notice that would happen today, and you know there was tabling, so you took time out of your busy schedule. I completely get that, and I really appreciate you guys participating. Here's where we are, and I think staff can probably explain this a little bit better. We have a couple options today. We could outright deny this, but here's a problem with outright denying, so you guys understand. That may be a temporary victory, but code, we can turn to staff, but code would allow them to file the exact same thing 6 months from now. So I don't, you know, I don't want you to think you don't are, and I know you probably know this and all that stuff, but these are the decisions that we have to make here. I don't know what the best one is. I want to listen to you guys on this, but understand no matter what decision we make today, unless it's an outright thumbs up, and I'll tell you right now, there's no way in God's green earth I'm going to do an outright thumbs up, which I probably shouldn't say before the applicant speaks, but you know, my understanding they weren't coming here. You know, that's the box. That's the box we're in. If I am going to support this, to be very clear, it needs to go, in my opinion, through planning and zoning again, if there are substantial changes, to give you guys an extra opportunity to engage there, and then engage as you have with us after that planning and zoning. That's the wonderful thing about planning and zoning. We get to hear what they have to say, and then we get to hear what the neighbors have to hear. So keep that in mind. Those are our two options that we have, to the best of my knowledge, and again, staff can.
Could I ask one more question to his point?
Right.
So if I understand, we're potentially considering a 4-month delay or possibly a 6-month delay. I mean, to your point, if we voted to deny this tonight, they can come back in 6 months.
I can turn it. I can turn over to staff.
Jeffrey, is that correct?
So if the application is denied, then we have a provision in our code that requires that there's a 6-month time frame before they submit another application of similar request.
Okay, so a motion tonight, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, a motion tonight to delay this for 120 days or 4 months, or we deny it, and they can start the process all over again in 6 months.
Correct.
Is that what
Yes.
it seems like we're down to?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Commissioner Pritchett, may I have the floor, please? The reason I'm doing this is because there was a motion or an email sent out to people at Indian River Isles and the area saying this was going to be continued. So I don't believe it's fair not to have the full contingent of people that may be in opposition to this here tonight. So I'm not so sure whether a 120-day continuation is the best way to go, or a table is the best way to go. Because I don't feel comfortable with them not having the number of people here that I know that are against it. Our office has received tons of emails in regards to this. So,
Could I ask one more question, sir?
yes, sir.
Please.
Commissioner Pritchett's got the floor.
Okay.
Commissioner Pritchett, you have the floor.
Madam Chair, may I ask one more question then? If we deny this tonight, does that mean they go back to the local planning and zoning board to start that process over again?
Yes, their application would be considered new and it would come back through.
Madam Chair?
Would you,
Madam Chair? Thank you, ma'am. All I'm trying to do, I'm not in agreement with what they want to do with this land, is the number of units. I'm not. I'm only trying to get them to work with these people to try to come up with something. Maybe they can't. So if they don't, then they can refile in 6 months. That's all I'm trying to do, is trying to get somebody to work together.
Commissioner Pritchett? Commissioner Goodson, would you consider a friendly amendment to table
Sure. For how long?
till the next zoning meeting?
The next zoning meeting?
The problem with that is they're only allowed one you're only allowed one table.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this would be their one table.
But then there wouldn't be time for
Right.
revisions or anything
Correct.
like that, and they're talking massive. So, Mr. Chair,
Sure.
I think the audience is probably here, and I think we're going around in circles. I think we're all on the same page, and I think Commissioner Goodson was pretty close there at the beginning. I think I've made it very clear to anyone who's called where I was on this one, and I didn't understand that you were in favor of that, and I think we can put this down. So I think we can table this and require it to go to the Planning and Zoning on August 14th with a submittal day. They have to turn in the revisions by August 2nd. Mr. Prasad wanted me to make that very clear, to come back to us on November 7th. That gets us there, gives the audience an opportunity to engage us, engage planning and zoning and all that, and allows this board to make the decision on November 7th. Not the future board, but this board.
That's your motion? Yes, that would be my motion. Thank you, Commissioner.
You want me to take the
Oh,
floor?
I'm sorry, I'm still letting you chair, but
Oh,
talk.
okay. All right, so we have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Wait,
Did we just
What?
make a motion to table
What?
with the P and Z?
do we have to hear from the audience?
Should we hear the
We're-
cards
we're-
first?
We're gonna hear from the audience, we're gonna hear from those people, but we can do this, and here's my issue. I've
Okay.
got 3 or 4 little tiny zoning issues in front of them that will keep these people here for hours.
I'm
And-
sorry, table this till after we go over the other items.
Correct.
I'm sorry, I assume this is tabled to a later date. Okay, great.
Correct.
Sorry,
Okay.
I apologize.
Okay. I know it's confusing, but just bear with me a second.
Okay, we're going to move them to the end.
Yes, we're moving
Gotcha.
into the end. Great.
Right.
Thank
Good.
you. Thank
Good.
you, I'm sorry.
That's all right. So, real quickly, we're going to put you guys on hold just for a minute, and then we're going to get to the ones that I know will be relatively quick.
Mr. Chair, if I may, because it is contemplated that the applicant is going to come back with a substantially revised plan and go through P and Z and come to this board again with a significant lapse in time, and because the applicant isn't here tonight, it could create a really muddy record if we receive testimony tonight when the applicant's not here to ask questions of the witnesses and those kinds of things. It could create record problems in the future. So while I understand and certainly feel for the folks who are out here tonight and want to be heard, it's probably in the best interest of everyone if they're heard at the time the board is actually going to make the decision based on the application that's submitted at that time. Now, if you want to hear them tonight with regard to this application, knowing that this particular application likely isn't going anywhere, you can do that, but it could create a confused record.
Well, I've certainly got a confused chairman right now.
May I ask a question?
Typically, when an item is continued, you don't receive testimony from the public at the meeting at which it's continued. Although if you want to hear from these folks because they didn't know and went through the effort to come out, you may.
May I?
But in all likelihood, whatever testimony goes on the record tonight will be irrelevant to the application that's considered in November.
Commissioner Pritchett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a question. I know with what we have right now, it's not going to, I don't think it's going to get passed. So maybe it would be wise to hear from the applicant to see if he has some very substantial changes that it's even worth continuing it if he'd be willing to do it. Maybe that, I don't know, sir, that's just a request, because that might just kind of just let this thing solve now or move forward. I don't know.
Okay,
What's your thought?
who's your thought, Morris? What's yours?
If the applicant's available to speak to that, my understanding, I thought I heard that the applicant wasn't here, although I did see someone start to come forward earlier, so.
Landy, I believe, is here, correct? Are you the applicant? Yes. So you're available to speak? Okay. If we could, please, I really would like to just get these other folks out of the way so that we can go there. So I'd like to have a temporary hold on this for discussion purposes, and move forward with, so we're coming back to you right as soon as I get done with these and let these people get out so that we can have full discretion and disclosure on this issue. All right, let me call up Kim Rezanka. Kim? This is on H3. Yes, sir. Jeff, I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Chair, let me read the items H3 and H4 into the record. They're companion applications. You can discuss them together, but you'll need to have separate motions. So item H3 is Gen Florida 48 LLC requests a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment, 23S.22, to change the future land use designation from Res 1.25 and Res 1 to Res 4. Application numbers 23SS 00022, tax account numbers 3000365 and 3000569, located in District 5. The applicant is requesting two waivers. The waivers are for, to exempt from 621446G, requiring the designation of an outdoor parking area for campers, travel trailers, recreational trailers, and vehicles, boats, and boat trailers, and other similar vehicles. The other waiver that has been requested is from section 621446D3B to allow residential structures 2 stories or less, a minimum building separation of 10 feet rather than 15 feet. The agenda report, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, have conditions for the board to consider, and that's on in the agenda report as well. Number 1 is the total number of units shall not exceed 124 single-family units. And the approval, number 2 is approval of the requested waiver of 621446. Number 3 is approval of requested waiver of from section 621446D3B. And number 4, prior to county approval of construction plans and preliminary plat, the developer shall provide documentation that the city of Palm Bay will approve the project and access connection of Babcock Street, and B, determine the adequate water and sewer service will be available to the development and will be available prior to the issuance of certificate of occupancy. During P&Z, the applicant had provided a revised plan that showed a plan that had 40-foot wide lots. That is not being requested at this time. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairman. Members of County Commission, my name is Kim Rezanka with Lacey Lyons Rezanka, Rockledge, Florida. I'm here with the developer, Sunterra Communities, who is also the owner's representative, which is Gen Florida 48 LLC. On behalf of Sunterra is Dan Edwards, the engineer of record. Polis and Bennett is represented by Andrew Ivy, and planner Jesse Anderson, and the transportation engineer with Kimley Horn. James Taylor is here as well if you have any questions. This is a relatively straightforward application. It's a 2-part request, changing future land use from 1 to 2.5 units to acre to Res 4, with an agreement to limit to 3 units to the acre, and then a PUD for 124 units with sufficient open space, sufficient buffers, protection of wetlands as required by county code. We do have a presentation. However, all the information was in the minutes. The PowerPoint's in your package. We can go through it if you'd like, or if you have any questions. I believe that it was all pretty straightforward. P&Z unanimously recommended approval of both items, and would ask approval of the change of the future land use and the PUD with the conditions as stated by Mr. Ball.
Okay, I don't believe we have any cards in opposition to this. Are there anybody that's in opposition to this from the general public? Oh, jeez. Oh, boy.
Well, with that, we'll hear her objections and then I can respond.
Okay, Sandra Sullivan.
Thank you.
Good evening, Sandra Sullivan. So I just want to read from the staff report first. Centralized portable water and sanitary sewer service is currently not available to the subject property. The applicant has represented that these services will be provided by the city of Palm Bay, but the city has no capacity to provide these services. So I want to go to state statute, Florida's Growth Policy Act, sections 163.2511-163.2520 of the Florida statutes are collectively known as the Growth Policy Act. A key takeaway from the Growth Policy Act is the importance of concurrency. Concurrency, as you know, is a provision requiring that certain infrastructure be in place before any new development is permitted. Such infrastructure includes sanitary sewers, portable drinking water, and waste treatment facilities. It says it's up to the local government to implement such requirements in advance. So I just want to point out that there seems to be a lot of this lately, putting in comprehensive plan amendments where there's no sewage and no water and no way to pay for it. In fact, one comment was made here on another item. The sooner we start developing it, the sooner we'll be able to pay for it, except impact fees are insufficient to pay for it. Thank you.
Real quickly, Jeff, do we not have a letter from the city of Palm Bay saying that there's water and sewer there on this issue?
We do have a letter from the city saying that they are going to provide water and sewer. There's also.
And who is, and that the developer is going to pay for that water and sewer to come down? Is that my understanding?
It's my understanding that they would have to pay for those services.
There you go, Ms. Sullivan. Thank you.
That is correct. Palm Bay has said they will provide wastewater, portable water, and fire flows, and also to address concurrency, going further into Florida statutes, section 163.3180 is a proportionate fair share, which was put into place by the legislature just for this purpose, so the developer does pay for the growth. With that, I would request that you approve these two items.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it also true that you would not get a certificate of occupancy unless it does have water and sewer operable, right?
That's correct. There's a condition on the PUD application that states that water and sewer got to be available prior to the issuance of the CO.
Thank you.
We have literally spent months on making sure all of these Ts were crossed and Is were dotted in regards to this issue. Is there any more, is there a motion? It's my district, so I'm in complete.
I'll make a motion for you, sir.
Please.
Motion to approve items H3 and H4. Can I do them together, Jeffrey? Separate?
She wants them separate. He wants them
Okay,
separate.
make a motion to approve item H3.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carries. Let's go to H4.
Make a motion to approve item H4
Second.
with the conditions.
With the conditions that were mentioned. Okay, any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you so very much. All right, now, do you have anything more that we need to take care of?
5 and 6, which were continued at P&Z, which need to be continued as well.
Just get ready to table those. Is that all right?
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
That would be great, because I'd like to get back to these very patient people over here. Okay, you're up. So, where are the cards on this?
Mr. Jeffrey, do you need to read it into the record before I
Yeah,
make a
yeah.
request?
Let me read
H5
both of
on
those
table.
into the record. So item H5 is Reninger requests a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment 24S.02 from agricultural to Res 6. Tax account numbers are 2002219, 2002228, 2002229, 2002230, 2002231, and 2002232, located in District 1. The applicant has requested a continuance to the September 5th Board of County Commissioners meeting, and that would put it at the LPA on August 12th, 2024. The companion rezoning application is also being continued to the August 12th, 2024 meeting for the planning and zoning, and that would be the September 5th Board of County Commissioners meeting, and that is for item H6 as well.
Okay, so we have a motion to continue, correct?
Yes, sir, I'd like to table it to September the 5th zoning meeting.
Okay,
Item-
is there a second on that? That's not you guys.
I'll second.
Any opposition, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. I do have a card here on H5, I believe from Sandra Sullivan. Are you going to waive that, or you want to talk about it? Thank you very much for your cooperation with that, Ms. Sullivan. I appreciate it. Okay, we have the applicants. If the applicants could just come up and sit here so that we, on H2,
With
where,
Oh, never mind. I'm going to table item 7 and 8 too, if I may, sir.
okay, go ahead.
Okay, Jeffrey, item H7 and H8, you have to re-advertise. So would you like to read it first, or do I need to just ask him to table?
So item H7 and 8 will be re-advertised. There was an issue with the application, so this one will be continued, not to a date certain, because we're re-advertising.
Okay, so
And it's for H7 and 8.
do you need me to table that for Commissioner Steele, or we
Yes.
just done? Okay, I make a motion, sir, to table item H7 and H8.
Is there a second,
I'll
please?
second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, now I promise we're on you.
But
Kevin?
real quick, sorry, Mr. Chair, have to butt in. I thought that the motion on H5 included H6 as well, to continue those. The clerk didn't hear that. Was H6 included in the?
Yeah, I don't want to have any mistakes that come back on, so thanks, Morris, I appreciate it very
So
much.
what do you need clarification on? I'm sorry. It's the same item, so it'll come
September the
back.
5th for both items.
Correct. Okay, Kevin Fox, where are you? Come on up. We're back on H2.
Sorry, apologize, I wasn't quite ready, I thought you were going to talk. Kevin Fox, what do I start out with? I don't know the protocol. I'm not the presenter, it's someone else.
You're here to discuss the zoning request.
I'm not the requester.
I understand, you're in opposition to it, is that correct? You got a
Yes,
red shirt
yes.
on. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry, apologize about that. My name's Kevin Fox, I'm here to represent the Indian River Isles North Homeowners Association, representing 52 properties in our neighborhood. I'd like to point out that the coastal high hazard area, it kind of.
Did you have a question, Commissioner Feltner?
I'm sorry, sir. Is this us hearing it, this item? I just want to understand what we're doing.
So the board has announced an intention to continue this, and it's been made relatively clear that it's going to come back in a different form and go through P&Z prior. So my recommendation would be for the board not to hear testimony on the item tonight, because that testimony is all going to change. It's going to create a confused record, and while I understand these folks are out tonight, they're going to have to come out again, because anything they say tonight won't be relevant, and the board can't consider it when it's considering the future application. So if you want to allow them to speak their piece because they're here, they may, but nothing said tonight will likely be germane or be able to be considered when this is ultimately heard by the board.
Okay, we only have a few cards, so you're recognizing that this is not going to go on the public record in regards to, you're going to have to come back after, at the continuation.
Can I ask, I'm confused.
Okay, go ahead, ask your question.
I'm kind of confused because I thought the developer's here with their people, so I thought you were going to talk to them first and ask them questions, and after they spoke, then we would speak.
We are, stop over there, please. No, ma'am, please, we can handle this. We're big people here. We can have a conversation. Thank you. So first, what I'm telling you is that this is going to be continued to another date. I said to everybody that I still wanted to allow the people that are here to speak so that they didn't make an unnecessary trip. Mr. Richardson then said that we can do that if you'd like us to do that, or we could just send you all home without saying anything, and then you'll have to come back anyway. So what I'm trying to do is give you the opportunity, if you're against this, to speak tonight, but you're still going to have to come back when we have our next meeting.
Oh, okay, I'm still confused because I thought if you voted it no, if you vote it down, they can't come back for 6 months, otherwise it's a 4 months. I thought you guys were going to discuss that and then make your decision how you were going to press forward. So that's my confusion as of right now. If you're going to do it that tact, talk to the developer if they're not going to have a substantial plan. So that's the confusion for me.
Developer's welcome to say something, but once again, this is going to be continued. And so all of this stuff is going to be for naught. The only reason that I stopped this tonight is I didn't want you walking out of here without having the opportunity from driving all this way to be able to say something about this if you'd like to. If you don't want to, and you all want to go home and eat some dinner and stuff like that, that's fine with us too.
I believe our letters that we've written will stand for themselves because it's not going to be pertinent. We're going to have to send all the letters again, is the way I understand it now, listening to the attorney. So I can just stop. You know we're in opposition to it at the present land use level. I'll say at 17 units per acre, we support the 6 units per acre.
Okay, we're just trying to be fair to both sides. I think we're in good shape now. There are other people, Kevin, thank you. There are other people. What?
Can I ask one quick question?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Sorry, one quick question. Are you in favor of the 6 months or the 4 months?
I would say the 6 months. I don't know. Okay, the 4 months then. Okay.
You probably want the 4 months.
Okay, the 4 months.
Trust me,
I thought you were going to discuss that so we could better understand it. I don't know all the ins and outs of this. So I thought you were going to talk to the developer, come up with your plan, and then press forward. I didn't know I was just going to be brought up here the first person to speak.
Okay. Sorry, I get it. And I appreciate, this is just new for us. In all honesty, someone tabled that late. So I apologize. We're normally not like this. This is just, we got thrown a curveball. So I appreciate it. And the chair's done a pretty darn good job handling that.
Well, I'm trying to, and one of the other reasons is because I don't want people coming back when they didn't have the opportunity. The reason I wanted to continue in the first place is because of the notice that was sent out that stopped people from coming.
Yes, sir.
It could have potentially hurt the developer also. So all of a sudden we get into a lawsuit, they say, well, what happened here? What happens here is that somebody sent out a notice, they didn't show up, and now we got a big mess.
Yes, sir.
So I want to cross our T's and dot our I's. If it's going to be killed, yay. If it's not going to be killed, yay, whatever. So, all right.
Can you just give us the dates again? Because I didn't catch all the dates when we need to come for the next time, for the
Yes.
planning and zoning and all that.
We will. Now, hold on.
Okay, so,
Commissioner Pritchett, then Commissioner Goodson.
Okay.
so Commissioner, so my question would be then, because I was trying to determine where the commission was going to land, would you poll the commission and see if they are apt to send it back to P&Z and then coming back the 7th? Because then I would make more sense to me whether we're going to vote on denying it or tabling it.
Do you want me to poll the commission on whether or not where they stand on the issue?
On whether or
Period?
not we're agreeable to table to the 7th. That would help my thinking right now.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Commissioner Tobias, where do you stand?
Yeah, I have to clarify, unfortunately, that motion, I got a date, I got yelled at by Mr. Prasad, so let me change those dates because it's very important, I move to approve the continuance of the application number 23 PUD 00001 to the November 7th, 2024 Commission zoning meeting, and under the condition that is reheard before the Planning and Zoning Board on October 14th, 2024. That would require, this isn't you, this would require the submitting party to do so by August the 2nd. So again, it would be October 14th, planning and zoning, us November 7th. I apologize for getting the dates wrong the first time.
I'm glad you are. I think it's Kevin, you okay now?
Yeah, he's all right. Now I kind of understand. I didn't understand what we
Yeah,
had
I
to
get
come
it.
back.
I get it.
Hold on.
And sir,
Hold on, I got it, guys.
I'm asking him to
I
hold on,
understand.
Chairman.
I'm calling you,
Because he
Commissioner
is
Goodson.
running back.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Commissioner Goodson.
Question, Indian River Isles, right?
would you
Yes, sir.
finish the-
And it's 52 units, you said, right?
52 properties, yes, sir.
Okay, how many acres?
Per lot, you mean?
No. How many acres total?
Half of 52, so 25-ish, I would say about, because everybody's about a half-acre lot or so. Maybe a little bit bigger if you count the canals, because our property lines go to the
Right.
center of the canals.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, certainly. Well, let's continue with the poll, Commissioner.
I would agree with that motion.
All right, so that's good. I'm in agreement with that too. Commissioner Feltner, where are you with the poll?
I'm okay to continuing it
Okay.
to his motion.
All right, Commissioner Goodson?
Yes, I am, yes.
Okay, good. So we're all in agreement with that.
So that's two per acre.
All in favor of the continuation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carries. And was there something else that you need to say? No, please do.
They didn't have, I think, for the clerk, they didn't know who seconded it. You
Oh,
made the second?
yes. Okay. Wow, this is fun. All right, so the reason this was done is to be in complete fairness to everybody. I apologize that we did this tonight, but I don't think we had a choice, specifically with the false alarm on this stuff. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate it very much, and I'm certain that you'll be hearing from the developer or Mr. Fox or other people. So thank you so very much for coming this evening. All right, let's move on. I think we've tabled many of these things, or where are we on the, okay.
Mr. Chair, my record is that we need to start at item H9.
Thanks, Jeff, I appreciate it. All right, H9, go ahead, Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item H9 and H10 are companion applications. I'm going to read them into the record at the same time, but you'll need to have separate motions for each. Item H9 is Alexis DeJesus and Rosemary DeJesus and Brandon DeJesus request a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment, 24S.07, from CC and NC to all CC. Application number is 24SS00007. Tax account number is 2102561, located in District 1. And item H10 is Alexis DeJesus, Rosemary DeJesus, and Brandon DeJesus request to change the zoning classification from BU-1 and AU to all BU-2. Application number is 24Z00021. Tax account number is 2102561, located in District 1. Part of the planning and zoning recommendation for the zoning application was to submit a BDP to restrict the uses to all BU1 uses and the sale of automobile and mobile homes with a 6-foot wall along the I'm sorry. So along the east boundary, including the right-of-way and adjacent to any residential use. So I just wanted to put on the record that if the board approves this zoning request, the next step would be the site plan process where the applicant would work with an engineer to make sure that the required infrastructure, or what the code requires, that is in place before the actual use of the property takes place.
Thank you, Jeff. Commissioner Pritchett, your district.
Thank you, sir. And I believe the applicants are here. I couldn't find your card. I might have lost it. I'm sorry. I have a request. I love your application, but I read the planning and zonings, and I don't like concrete walls, and usually Natural Resources works with me on another avenue with natural buffer. So I'm going to have Mr. Jeffrey read a recommendation that I have, that if you would do a BDP on it, then I think this would be a great project.
What's a BDP?
A
Binding development plan.
And so he's going to read it, and it's pretty much what you're wanting to do, but it just kind of protects it.
Yeah, I'm here for the wall. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Jeff,
Thank you.
please.
So the proposed BDP conditions would restrict the uses to all BU1 uses and only mobile home sales from the BU2 zoning district, and to prohibit access to Andre Road.
That's fine. Yeah, that's good.
I thought you'd be good with it.
That's perfect, yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
Turn the light.
Commissioner Tobias.
Thank you. A couple quick questions. One to staff. Is there still an open code enforcement violation on this property?
And it's my understanding that that has been resolved.
Okay, great, wonderful.
Good.
And then second of all, to the applicants, Mr. Chair. Do you plan to develop a site plan and follow other code requirements if we go ahead and prove it today?
Depends what you. I'm trying to get away from the war. All we want to say, all we want to do is sell mobile homes. That's it.
Yeah, it
That's-
won't require us to put up a wall. So
Yeah, that's all.
As long as we don't have to put up a wall yet.
Yes, yes.
Can I punt that to staff?
Absolutely, go ahead.
I'm sorry, to sell mobile homes.
I can sell cars out of it. I can sell boats. I can sell
My question,
parts,
I
can sell
don't know
everything.
that.
But I
is-
can't
is
sell
there-
mobile homes.
If we grant this today, I think they're under the assumption that they all of a sudden can sell mobile homes. There's a disconnect here, am I right?
I think it's on
So what I would
YouTube.
tell you, Commissioner, is that the zoning would approve the use. The subsequent site plan process would be the required infrastructure needed to support that use. So just because the board approves the use today, if the board approved the BDP, that BDP has to come back for board approval too, and then the subsequent site plan would be required as well.
Okay, yeah, just to be clear, just because we were to approve it today, you can't go selling mobile homes tomorrow. Okay, I just want to make sure.
There's a
Okay.
procedure. I understand.
Thank you, sir, good catch.
Okay, so you got it. You understand where we are?
Yes.
Do we have a
So
motion
what-
from you?
What kind of boundaries are in question here?
Okay.
Shrubs,
Let
fence?
me say this to you real quick. You're gonna need to develop a binding development plan. It's gonna have to be submitted to planning and zoning, and they'll approve it, and then you can go forward. They'll talk about the shrubs, they'll talk about the setbacks, they'll talk about everything else that you need to think about.
Okay, great.
If we approve the zoning tonight, that's it. Then before you do anything with it, you gotta go get a BDP,
Okay.
okay?
But you're going to be in agreement with this BDP on the record, you just said so.
We'll do that.
Okay, so as they work through that, they'll be bringing back other abilities to comply with all the things that you need to comply with.
That's fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you
Thank
have
you.
something, Commissioner?
No,
You sure, Commissioner Goodson? Okay,
I make a
let's see if we can get a motion.
I make a motion to approve item H9.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right,
I make a
Thank you,
motion
guys.
to approve item H10.
is there a second? There's a motion by Commissioner Pritchett, seconded by Commissioner Tobias. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, you're good to go for tonight.
That's it. Thank you so
We're
much, guys.
getting-
Have
Question, so once we put together a development plan, we have to get it approved through the zoning, and then
Mr.
we have
Chair,
to come in
you'll-
front of the
you'll
board
be able
again?
to
Hold on,
talk-
Mr.
You'll be able to talk to planning and zoning. Who wants to handle that? Tad,
Okay.
Jeff,
If-
who?
We have a gentleman in the back just waiting to speak
George
with you
Ritchie,
guys
right
about
back
the-
there, that
the
handsome fellow over there.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay?
guys. Appreciate it.
Talk to George. Okay. I guess we're on H11,
Yes, sir.
and that is District 1. Jeff, please. Where are we?
Commissioner,
Go ahead, buddy.
Commissioner Steele?
Yes,
My
Tad.
apology, I believe we had a motion on H9, but we also need a motion on H10 for,
I did both.
did you do both?
we did
Okay, I'm
both.
sorry.
It's all right.
That's all right.
My
So
fault.
just so the clerk knows, on H9 and H10, you've got that? Okay, cool. We're good.
In the motion for 10 included the BDP with those conditions.
Okay? Commissioner Pritchett.
Thank you. You guys are clear on that, though, right? Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
So
I
we
got
Okay. H11, Jeffrey?
Item H11 is Put It In Me Storage LLC requests a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment 24S.04 from industrial to commercial, application numbers 24SS00004, tax account numbers 2322557, located in District 1.
Okay. The applicant's here? Is the applicant here? Hey, come on up, please.
I was going to make a motion to approve it, though.
You can stand up
Okay.
here and take the motion to approve. Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'm sorry, sir, I didn't catch your name or the company.
Didn't give it yet. Good afternoon. My name is Vaheed Teimouri with Teimouri and Associates. I'm the engineer of record,
Okay?
and I'm here to answer any questions.
Yeah, I didn't catch the company name, I'm sorry.
Teimouri and Associates, T-E-I.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
M-O-U-R-I.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve item H11.
Thought I could get him to say it.
Is there any discussion? There's a motion by Commissioner Pritchett, seconded by Commissioner Goodson. No discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, we are moving now.
Stop it, you're on two.
H12, this is
Thank you, Mr.
me.
Chair.
Jeff.
Item H12 is Richard Jones requests to change the zoning classification from GU to RU-1-9. Application number is 24Z00006. Tax account number is 2716623, located in District 5.
Is Mr. Jones here? Yes. Come on up, young man. All right. I have no problem with this zoning whatsoever, so I just wanted you to know that. And in the event that the commission has any questions, I'd like to open up the floor for a motion.
Make a motion to approve for you, sir.
Thank you so much. There's a motion by Commissioner Pritchett, seconded by Commissioner Tobias. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries. You're good to go.
Thank you.
All right. All right, H13, Jamie Kent.
Item
Car-
H,
Go ahead, Jeff.
item H13 is Jamine Kent, Carlene Sapp-Kent, and Jermaine Kent request to change the zoning classification from AU to RU-1-11. Application number is 24Z00013. Tax account number is 2103548, located in District 1.
Commissioner?
I make a motion to approve item H13.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor by Commissioner Pritchett, seconded by Commissioner Tobias. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carries. You're good to go. All right, Jeff?
Item H14 is Seminary Covenant Community Inc. requests a change of zoning classification from INL to RU 2-15. Application numbers 24Z00014. Tax account numbers 2501136, located in District 2. So, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, there's an error with the planning and zoning approval. The vote should have been 8-1 with the recommendation of approval.
Okay. The applicants are here. Bruce, I guess you're representing them?
Yes, sir.
It looks like we're going to have a little bit of discussion on this, so you might as well make your presentation.
It appears that we will, yes. Thank you very much. Good evening, Commissioners. Mr. Chairman, my name is Bruce Moia with MBB Engineering, representing the applicant. Very excited to be here today to present this project to you. This would be possibly the second one that we would do, should it be approved. This is a model for housing children that are terming out of foster care. So when they get kicked out on their 18th birthday and they have nowhere to go, they're planning on building a facility to take these kids in, teach them how to earn a living, train them on how to be a productive member of society. So we are under construction on the first model in Melbourne, very well received by the city. It is affordable housing for these kids. And so we're trying to do this again here in Merritt Island. Very low impact, because most of these kids don't drive. We'll be following all the rules of the county. I know that there's some issues about floodplain, which is why you guys have such strict rules about developing in the floodplain. So we would be definitely abiding by all those requirements. But in order to do this, we would have to change the zoning to a multifamily zoning. And what we will be doing is we will be bringing utilities to this property, because currently it's on septic, and we'll be putting it on sewer.
Okay.
So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Now, who's Catherine Ferretto? Is that, okay. You have a card here that basically says you want to, are you here to answer questions, or you want to make comments is what you'd like to do? Okay, that's fine. I just was confused by the card. All right, Bruce, let's sit down for a second. We'll call these cards up. Catherine, come on up.
I've never done this before, so you have to forgive me.
I haven't either, so we're in the same boat.
You've been around I've been here 59 years on Merritt Island, so I recognize all the names. Anyway, I'm opposed to it because it's going to create a big problem we have the junior high school, we have this going up across the street, we have tons of traffic now as it is, and then I understand there's a tract of homes going up also. I was told there was 43 homes besides the housing for the kids. So, I don't know. Liz, you can
Ma'am,
help me out here.
ma'am, you have to address the board. Okay? You can't
No,
turn
but
around
I
and
don't
talk
know
to
that
them.
much about it. I was just
That's
brought
okay.
into this right now.
We're fine with you. Go ahead,
But
please.
being a person that lives on that street, I just see a tremendous amount of problems there.
Okay.
There's problems now. So that's my concern.
All right, your comments have been noted.
Okay, good.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Alan,
That's my
yes,
husband.
Commissioner Goodson?
Ma'am.
Ma'am.
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Where do you live? What street?
I live on Banana Boulevard,
And that would
which
be.
is right the street, right where all this is going to go on. The church is there.
Right.
And then that property
So
south,
you live,
north of there.
you live on the west side of State Road 3, correct?
Yes.
How far down Banana?
Not quite halfway.
So does Banana tie into Tropical Trail?
I didn't understand.
Does Banana tie into Tropical
Yes,
Trail?
yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you. Did you have a question, Commissioner? No? All right. Yeah, Alan, did you want to say something?
Yeah.
Okay, come on up, and then if you'd be kind enough, you can, I'm going to give Alan and this other lovely lady's address, which is 435 Banana Boulevard. So Alan, go ahead and.
Yeah, I just got a question, a couple questions, but one is, before you give them permission to build something, do you go through the flood plan? I know this is not for the flood plan, and you don't know nothing about the flood plan, I guess. But if that raises the flood plan up, my house is gonna get into the danger flood plan, you might say. I just wanna know if that goes, I know you don't take that in consideration, but
No, sir.
somebody does.
Well, that's a pretty simple question. We go through a thorough analysis of what's going to happen with it. They've got to submit a site plan to the building department, planning department, and those issues need to be resolved and talked about. So, Jeff, you got anything else, or Tad, you got anything else you want to say with that? Is that a good enough answer? Okay. Do you have any more to say?
Not really, except for the traffic problem. I guess they're gonna go through, have to figure out how the traffic's gonna go from the school. They have a school there, so that's gonna be,
Right.
and if they're gonna put that, I wasn't under the impression they would put units, 43 houses on 3 acres of property.
We're not addressing the 43 units, and I don't even know that that's accurate. So
Yeah.
we're addressing this particular zoning request tonight, and I don't know that there's 43 units that are being applied for or not there.
Yeah.
So that is something that's speculation at this point.
Yeah, it's, all right, thank you very much.
All right, well, appreciate your comments. Now, does somebody else, anybody on this side have a comment? Tad, were you going to say something?
I was going to say that they do have to go through the site plan after they're through with this. And the proposed, what we have in our staff report shows that it's going to be a 43-unit facility. So
There you go.
maybe where the-
So now it's cleared up.
Question.
All right. Commissioner Goodson.
Thank you.
Yes,
And
sir.
this might be to Bruce. Are we talking about 43 houses? Are we talking about 43 apartments? Can you help us?
Yes, sir. So it will be 43 units would be the maximum potential, but we have floodplains to deal with. We have wetlands possibly to deal with.
But you're not talking about 43 houses, are you?
No, there'd be 43 multifamily units.
Okay, explain to us, what is a multifamily unit?
It
Why
would be
would
like, it would be basically like an apartment.
Okay.
It wouldn't be single-family homes where they'd be detached. It would be multifamily. But the zoning would allow us up to 43, but I don't know if we can get 43 by the time we do retention and all that. We just need the zoning so that we could actually put together a plan.
Bruce, would you try to get with some of these homeowners around and kind of meet with them a little bit and show them your plans at some point in time?
We don't have a plan.
Because we don't even know.
When you
Yeah.
get your
Oh,
plans,
absolutely. Yes,
will you
sir.
be more than happy to meet with them?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner,
Thank
your
you.
turn.
Just for you guys' comfort, they're going to have to still go through a traffic study and all those items as well. So after this, there's still a lot of hurdles to get through. That'll give you a little comfort.
Thank you for being here. Joe Eichenlob? Holy mackerel.
I've been called a lot worse.
There you go.
How you doing?
Jeff, do you have any? Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
Oh,
You got a comment on this issue? Go ahead.
Yeah, just Joe Eichenlob. I want to congratulate them on what they're doing for the children or young adults. I'm guessing from what I heard, 18 or over possibly. And I don't know how many number of children or adults are going to be in the 43 quote units in the area. And you just brought up a good point, Rita, that this is an ongoing thing and a lot of things need to be addressed. What I would like to be addressed of, this is, and these two gentlemen back here, is our neighborhood that accidentally got notified that this was even happening. Signage, minimal, looked like a sad garage sale sign that you couldn't read. Nobody in the whole neighborhood of Island Beach knew any of this was going on. And we'd like to have the consideration of H2 to have this continued so we can notify all the neighbors and get their opinions and have a get-together with them and maybe show up like H2 people tried to do here and understand what this gentleman and what they're trying to do, because we'd like to support it, but the school with all the children across the street is a kind of a concern for safety purposes, traffic naturally, with trying to get people to school, from school, school buses, which on Banana Boulevard is the main thoroughfare besides Courtney and Tropical Trail to get to, and this sits right there. So I would just like to ask if this could be continued so we can notify the neighbors ourselves, since unless you're going to be able to do that for us as you requested, so we can have some time to put this all together and understand it.
Okay, well, thank you for your comments. Let me explain to you that there's a process that goes on before the zoning is going to even be called on. And we send out notices to everybody, and there's signs that are posted on the land and things of that nature. So if you did not get a notice, I'm very surprised. And normally we don't do continuations on things unless there's been some sort of confusion in regards to, like what happened here tonight. There was some confusion in regards to somebody sending out a notice saying that the thing was going to be continued. I asked Mr. Moia that after this hearing, or before he gets into the potential for site plan and things of that nature, if he would come meet with you. He said he would. Mm-hmm. So that's the best we can do tonight. I don't believe anybody wants to continue this tonight.
I have a question.
Commissioner Goodson.
Have a question. Did we send out notices in the mail to a certain group around this zoning request?
Yes, sir. We provided a courtesy notice up to 500 feet, so to all the properties that were within 500 feet.
Now, and as far as the sign, there is I guess a standard size sign that you erect on the property, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it would be fair to say that in Florida during the summertime, when you have thunderstorms with 50-mile-an-hour winds, you cannot keep them all standing straight up at attention. Would that be a fair statement?
I believe so.
I do too. But if you send out the mailer, you don't know if they receive it or not, but you make an effort to send it out, correct?
Yeah, yes, sir. And the mailer is a courtesy. It's above and beyond what the statute requires. So it's the request is posted on the property It's advertised on the county website, and a courtesy notice goes out.
Thank you. Okay. Do you live within that radius that you might not have received it? Is that possible?
Yes, and 30 other people that I've notified and told about this, 2 of which got notification and happened to be just 500 feet maybe
I got you.
from there.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you very much for your time tonight. Elizabeth Michelman?
Okay, it's Michaelman. We're getting close here. The last name's
Michaelman, yeah, there you go. I remember
Hi.
you.
Yeah, I was here Tuesday. Hi, everybody. I actually sent you 4 images today. This is the image of what 500 feet looks like. It's barely 12 homes. It's nice that it's a courtesy, but what Mr. Goodson might be talking about, I sent each of you a picture of that sign. That sign is sitting on the front of the property, folded in half, and it's been in that condition for over 4 weeks. The only reason we have people in this room tonight is because I went door to door. And believe me, I didn't have a lot of opportunity to do that because it's a little hot out there. It shouldn't be my job to convey information to my neighbors, but it's important, and as you can see by the few that are here, it is an important issue. So I have requested a couple of things. When I was here on Tuesday, I gave each of you a packet. Now, inside of that packet, I don't think there were emotional issues. These were things that were listed by FEMA. The relationship between FEMA, homeowners insurance, flood insurance, the fact that this property is in the middle of a high-risk area should be consideration. So you're saying that it's not going to be 43 houses. That's fine. But they're requesting the opportunity for an FLU change that would put 15 houses per acre. I'm just saying that when we did the comp plan back 40 years ago, I'm not sure they really thought about the floodplains, the coastal hazard areas. I've talked to FEMA at depth. I've talked to John Smith from Floodplain Management. This is not a good idea, really, honestly, in any shape or form. And I would love to talk to Mr. Moia. I would love to talk to Mr. Rusbury. But the thing is, in order to do that, the neighbors need to know this is happening. It's not, it's not an unkind request. Sorry, I went home Tuesday with no voice. So anyway, the 2 things I had was an ask. Because on Tuesday night, I was asked, to what end? Why am I here? What do I want to convey? Number 1, I do not believe in any way that adequate notice regarding this proposal was provided to the neighbors. I provided proof. It's in all your emails. Number 2, I also, no offense,
Ma'am,
I know the rules, I'm sorry. I believe that the relationship of Mr. Moia with the zoning board might have complicated things, because all of you are willing to talk about and apologize about item 2, but the irony is in the item 2, they went through floodplain. They went through all of the issues with flooding, coastal hazard, the soils, whereas in this, it's an 8-page. They even forgot to mention that it is a floodplain. I provided pictures of it in color for you in email. Please, 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 I'm not asking for you to kill it. I would love for you to kill it right now. But I am asking that it goes back to the board and that we advertise it correctly. I'd like to see more people get involved with this. It's not a big ask.
You've got 1 minute and 44 seconds left. Would you like to say anything else?
You have any questions? You want me to show you images?
No, ma'am, I don't have any questions. We're here to listen to you.
Well, actually, I sent them all information about the insurance and what's going on in Lee County and what's happening with FEMA and how we went from a Class 7 to a Class 8, and we're costing our residents more in flood insurance if we do not start to properly manage our floodplains, if we do not properly consider what our wetlands are for. Listen, wetlands to a barrier island is what a barrier island is to the mainland. It is a form of protection. And no matter how much you think you're going to put a pond in, it's not going to do the same thing as what Mother Nature is capable of doing. I hope you consider it. I've given you a lot of information. I'm not telling you what I think is. This is what is. All right? Please, please, just re-advertise it where the sign actually stands up and you can see it. And I wanted to, do you mind if I give you this?
No, go ahead.
That's what 500 feet looks like, not even 12 neighbors.
Okay, well, thank you for your, I'll submit this to the clerk. Okay, discussion from the board. Oh, my goodness, Sandra Sullivan, how can I miss you? Come up, please.
It's almost like it's on purpose at this point. Sandra Sullivan. Okay, so as you know, I am very passionate about the Barrier Island. I live on it. Our lives depend on protecting the Barrier Island for evacuation. I've come up here for numerous times. This is a public safety, life safety issue. Okay? And I also want to just say here too, the way this board has functioned in many years I've been coming here is you typically defer to whose district it is to weigh in on a decision first. So I just wanted to remind that. On evacuation, according to the studies, we are 56.6 hours, 56.5 hours to evacuate the Barrier Island in a Category 5 hurricane. Okay, we've been lucky we haven't been hit by one. Matthew was supposed to be a direct hit. We didn't get hit by it. That's not to say we won't get hit by another one. It's not if, it's when. So currently 520, I think, is at 98% capacity to get off. We have flooding issues in past hurricanes where some of the residents haven't been able to go north on Courtney. They had to go south and they had to use this road. And then I wanted to talk about your comprehensive plan and not increasing density on the coastal high hazard area. Some of this property is on the coastal high hazard area. But I also want to read this article that came out today. The Federal Emergency Management Agency confirmed there would be no, they were talking about, oh, wait a sec here. Earlier this year, the agency stripped Cape Coral, Estuarial, Bonita Springs, Fort Myers Beach, and unincorporated Lee of their 25% flood insurance discounts. Under the federal flood insurance program, the county has an agreement with this federal agency in order to get discounts. You are supposed to be protecting the floodplain. You're supposed to be, okay? But what I'm seeing is you're not. And my concern is we're going to end up with like Lee County, where we're going to be on top of all of the other insurance crises that we're dealing with. You're going to cause people to suffer more with even higher increases. So not only are you potentially endangering lives for evacuation because we can't get off because the growth 520 is at 98% capacity to get off of the causeway, but now the appropriate place to put kids coming out of foster care is on the mainland, so you're not endangering their lives. I also want to read from the staff reports on this. It says that the closest concurrency management segment to the subject property is South Courtney Parkway between South Tropical Trail to Banana Boulevard, which has a maximum acceptable level of service of E. So some of the people here have discussed traffic issues in that area as well. But the key issue is evacuation, not putting more density on the coastal high hazard area per your comprehensive plan, and protecting the floodplain to protect our insurance as you're required to do under the federal flood insurance program. And then I would just say as affordable housing, they're waiving their impact fees, and so that's going to be burdened by the people as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mark Rosen.
Good evening. So I found out, obviously, at the last minute because of the way your rules work, which I came from Dade County, born and raised Floridian. We do things a little different there, and people participate. I live on 360 Banana Boulevard. So I don't know enough about the floodplains and all the technicalities, so I'm not going to pretend to do it, but I support it. If those exist, they should be abided by. But I can tell you the traffic's a real issue with the schools. I can't even get out onto Courtenay in the morning during school sessions with Jefferson. You can go roundabout ways, or you can wait for courteous people. A lot better here than they are in Miami. People line up on Banana Boulevard from Courtenay in for almost a block and a half, 2 blocks, morning and evening. Now they're going to add more congestion to an already congested area, which is a concern to me and a safety hazard. So I would say, was there any kind of impact study done to understand what the traffic situation is going to be and how that's going to be safe for people? You know, we don't really want I don't think anyone wants a traffic light due to increased population, people. And so has that been considered? And if it isn't, would you kindly do it? Because we live there. So people that don't live in an area usually don't look at things the same as people that do. Thank you.
Paul Hoskins.
Paul Hoskins, I live on Hibiscus Boulevard, which is just the road north of that, of Banana. I, too, found out about this. I'm thinking, you know, they're going to put 48 houses out there. Obviously, that's wrong. It's 48 units, so I'm glad that's clarified. You know, you see all these apartment buildings popping up everywhere, and it's like, oh, my God, you know, even Merritt Island's not safe from that. But anyway, you know, I guess I would just like to know what's going on. I appreciate the 500-foot notice, but I think that's ridiculous. So I'm sure it's your policy or whatever, but I think that, you know, it'd be nice to know what they're really going to do there. So, you know, to me, I don't think 48 units, was that 4-story building, 5-story, you know, I don't know, you know, I guess I can't ask, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm learning your rules here.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, so that's my concern. I would just like to know what's going on, that's all, you know.
We appreciate you sharing your comments. Anything else?
Nope, I got 4 minutes to spare.
Okay, Commissioner Goodson, this is your district.
Yes, Chairman, I'd like to bring Bruce back up,
Yes,
if you
sir.
don't mind, for
Absolutely.
questions. Bruce, the
Thank you,
site,
Commissioner.
if I'm not mistaken, is 2.92 acres, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Now, could you tell me and these people sitting behind you, briefly, give me the process that you get a set of plans approved?
So,
in the county.
In the county.
Make
So,
it
yes,
simple.
So assuming we have the zoning and land use in place, we would create the site plan drawings and engineer the stormwater. We would comply with all your floodplain requirements. We'd have to do a traffic study. We'd have to do an environmental study. We'd have to do soil borings. We have to do, you know, the surveys of the property. And we have to coordinate with the utility company to get the water and sewer to the properties. So, I wanted to say this, maybe as part of this discussion or not, but developability of this property is really irrelevant of the zoning, because they could go and develop this property right now and as institutional to the greatest extent that they can.
Right.
Without us asking for permission from the board. We will be, you know, limited to meet your rules, and your floodplain rules are very stringent, and I think that's why you have the good grade that you have, is because of your rules, not because of what gets constructed, but because we have to abide by your rules, and you have those rules in place to make sure that you don't impact the floodplain. So that's what gives you guys the good rating that you have, and
Now,
we can't impact that.
Also tell me, how many times do you go to the county with a set of plans, get kicked back, redraw them, and come back again? Just an average.
Can't even tell you how many times it
So,
happens every time.
it happens,
Multiple
though.
times on every project,
Correct.
yes, sir.
So they're very efficient on making sure you act right.
Yes, sir,
correct?
absolutely.
Okay, I thought so too. Now, the other issue, just asking, the church is there now, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that church going to remain, or you don't know?
No, the church is not going to remain.
It's
no.
going to come down?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you had 2.92 acres and you have retention that you have to hold on your property for 24 hours, how much of that 2.92 gets developed usually, or what percentage of an acre gets developed?
Well, you have impervious restrictions. You can't go above that. Typically, a site has at least 20% of its area devoted just for stormwater retention.
So you have no intention of mitigating any of the wetlands or the flood areas?
I don't even know how many, if there are wetlands, we don't know that yet. We haven't done that study. But, we won't impact anything that we are not allowed to.
Right. All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And also wanted to add too, I know that traffic is a concern, which I think makes this a great project because most of these kids don't drive. So this is not a typical apartment complex where you see that's being constructed all over the place where everybody has 2 cars. That's not what's going to happen here. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Goodson, do you have a motion?
Yes, I do. I'd like to move that this is...
Oh, I'm sorry. The light's on and somebody is home.
Thank
So
you.
go ahead, Commissioner Pritchett.
Mr. Mull, I do know from the notes that right now there could be 133 trips, and then you're removing the church as well, and churches typically have a lot of traffic trips too. So just another comfort thing is that they're going to have to do a lot of hoop jumping here still to get the project done, and I'm sure you guys are going to sit with the community then at that time and let them know what you're designing and planning. As far as the parameter of what we send out notices for, it's what we've always done. If the board needs to maybe have a consideration to expand that, but ever since I've been on the commission, that's been an adequate amount. We've never had that problem in the past. So I just want to mention that. That's not new for this project, and staff has adequately done a great job again. So that's all I wanted to say, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Your motion, sir.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we approve this change of zoning classification from INL to RU 215.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank
you
you,
very much.
Commissioners.
You missed a card, though, I'm sorry.
And whose card would that be?
Beth Icahn, wow.
Your name's Beth, huh?
Bev, BEV. Yeah, I filled out a card. I can log.
You can go ahead and come on up, but I believe we haven't taken the vote yet, have we? Okay, come on up, Bev. Let's hear what you have to say. Sorry.
Thank you, that's okay.
Just one moment, ma'am. Commissioner, would you entertain a motion to reopen the public hearing on the item?
Yes, sir. Is there a motion to reopen the public hearing, please? Is there a second? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Thank you very much. You have the floor, ma'am.
My name is Bev Eichenlob. I'm retired from federal government, which don't mean much. But what I just would like to say is what I thought was pertinent when they were talking about this gentleman is not sure about, is it wetlands? When it rains, I always notice this, when I'm driving, the water never goes away for weeks and weeks and weeks. It just sits there. So yeah, it's definitely in a flood zone. It's definitely a wetland. I can't imagine anybody building anything on that. There's no reason to do that. And as far as they don't have vehicles, somebody has to take these people to doctors or whatever, go to the grocery or whatever. It's going to have more traffic. But I personally don't even go that direction. When I drive down Banana Boulevard, I have to turn and make another trip because the traffic, all day long now, it's just getting worse. But I don't know, I didn't know myself, who do I contact to tell somebody, hey, it's getting worse out here. I've seen 2 children almost get hit by cars, which is just because there's just so many people. And like the one gentleman said, the people are lining up on the streets. It's ridiculous. So anyway, I just wanted to make mention of that. Thank you so much for what you do. I believe in the government, even though now it's kind of shaky, but thank you so much for what you do. I've lived here 10 years. I'm not going back to Ohio. I do love Florida. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry we missed your card.
Mr. Chair, in light of those additional comments, I'd just ask, and I apologize, Board, but if you would just take that vote again, please.
Oh, we haven't taken a vote yet. Go ahead and redo the motion, Commissioner Goodson, please.
Okay. I would like to make a motion that we approve this, and I can't find it. Okay, here it is. Nope, that's the best motion I can do because I can't find my paperwork now
Okay,
that you got me all screwed up. Thank you, thank
For
you.
the clerk, it's motion on H14, 242-00014. Okay, is there any discussion? Commissioner Feltner? Okay. There's a motion by Commissioner Goodson, seconded by Commissioner Pritchett. No more discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. The motion carries. Okay, thank you. Let's go on to H15. Jeff, please.
Scott Martin requests to change zoning classification from BU-1 and RU2-15 to all RU2-15. Application numbers 24Z00015. Tax account numbers 252270, located in District 2.
Okay. Is the applicant here? Scott Martin? All right, so you just sit right there for a second, Scott. Let's turn it over to Commissioner Goodson for his analysis of this. It's his district. Commissioner, what say you?
I have no problem with it.
Okay. You might be off the hook, but let's just try. Is there a motion to approve?
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chair, for approval.
Is there a second? Second. It's a motion by Commissioner Goodson, seconded by Commissioner Tobias. Is there any discussion? There's no cards out there, I think. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you so much.
See you, Scott.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to the next one, Jeff.
Item H16 is Brevard County Board of County Commissioners requests to change the zoning classification from AU with a CUP and GML to all GML institutional with the removal of a CUP. Application numbers 24Z00017, tax account numbers 2500007, located in District 2.
Okay, Commissioner Goodson.
I have no issues with this. I would make a motion for approval.
I'll
That's
second.
the sheriff's farm.
Okay. There's motion by Commissioner Goodson, seconded by Commissioner Feltner. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries. You're up, Jeff.
Item H17 is Barrows West Suite Developers LLC requests a CUP for on-premise consumption of an alcohol in a PUD zoning classification. Application number is 24Z00019. Tax account number is 3030134, located in District 4.
Commissioner Feltner.
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second? Second. There's a motion by Commissioner Feltner, seconded by Commissioner Tobias. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carries. H18. Jeff, please.
Walter Chlewicki requests to change the zoning classification from RU1-13 to RU24 with a BDP. This application is requested to be tabled to allow for re-advertising. The applicant did not appear at the P&Z meeting.
Okay, so we don't need to do anything on this other than the
No, sir, this will be
table?
re-advertised.
Okay, so that one's done.
Okay.
All right, we have any unfinished business. We have some public comments. Senator Sullivan.
Okay.
Sandra Sullivan, South Patrick Shores. So, quite the Tuesday meeting. While I was here, one of the people that was here informed me that at the next commissioner meeting, it's your intention to bring forward the lagoon referendum. That's a 9 a.m. meeting, and I would request that you consider putting this to a 5 o'clock meeting to avoid the appearance that you're trying to limit the public from weighing in on this important issue. I'm sure I'd also like to suggest that you not bring this forward. 3 of you are leaving, and we will have 3 new commissioners who may want to fix some of the issues with our lagoon plan, including some alleged corruption. Our current commissioners should respect that the Save the Lagoon decision should be with the commissioners that will be serving with this tax in place for the next 10 years, especially Steele, who is not elected. The tax doesn't sunset until 2026, so this can wait. And with no burden, not to burden the new commissioners to deal with poor decisions to not fix what is wrong with this tax now. My recommendation to our commissioners is to not bring this to the voters this year and to leave the decision for the commissioners who are replacing District 1, District 3, and District 5 without burdening them with your poor decisions. There's a lot of controversy right now with the Rockledge Drive, and the monies that were paid to butcher the trees came from the essentially sewer fund. And this Save the Lagoon being now weaponized against the people for Rockledge Drive. And also in my community, there's the issue of the Sarno lands, which have been used in the past for DMAA, a $50 million project to ship that muck down to Palm Bay. I've done records requests for the modification of the bid. And guess what? No records found. It's been 6 weeks. So what's the plan there? And then you look at Satellite Beach and Indian Harbor, you start shipping that muck down to BV 52 in Palm Bay, that's going to be $75, $80, $90 million. So we know what's going to happen. That's going to end up on Pineda. You're going to say, basically, screw the people. We're going to do what we want with the lagoon tax, and maybe it would be a fair thing to let the new commissioners coming in here deal with that, the conflict of interest issues, and then there's the issue of the muck tax. The article in Florida today, which indicates this is not a legal use of the tax for maintenance dredging, and that Mayfield and Thad Altman were working to change that state statute, the infrastructure surtax 212.055, and we're unsuccessful since those bill changes failed in appropriations, not once but twice. And so there's a lot of issues here. I would suggest that you leave it for the incoming commissioners and avoid yet another controversy with you up here. Thank you.
Stella Snooks.
Good day, County staff. My name is Stephen Snooks, born here, Cape Canaveral Hospital, resident for my whole life, 40 years, and am looking to improve Brevard County as best I can. At this very moment, we have cruise ships coming to town twice a week, on schedule for 1 ship, many more ships though. So we have all these cruise ships coming to town, some 5,000 people per ship, and what do? They come here and they leave here. They go to Orlando, they seek enjoyment, entertainment, vacation, things like that. So we're but a keyhole to Central Florida. I think if Brevard County wanted to increase revenues, increase profits, they should inquire about whether if residential is their main concern or if they want entertainment. So I have in plan a proposal for the county to have a competition course constructed in the northwest sector, in the 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, 16, 17, and 18 parcels. It's a lot of land out that way. Currently, it's owned by Miami Alternatives, LLC. They got about 10K acres out there. To my record search, I was able to find one payment on all those as a collective joint together, and they spent about $10 purchasing 10,000 acres. So this is in great conflict to the plans to construct a competition course and bring profit through entertainment for Brevard County, as 10K acres going to that area would mean a proposal for residentials, housing, things of that nature. And you can imagine a competition course next to residential areas would not be a great thing. There would be noise complaints and such. So as this area is still untouched, there has been no ground broken for the name of this company in their pursuit for over 12 years. That tells me that they are stalemating the efforts of Brevard County to have growth. I would like the county to consider to put in land near this development into a land trust, so that way their stalemating can be combated with putting land into a trust that could then have the investors' confidence in following through with contributing more funds to this land trust to then develop the competition courses for Brevard County. And at this point, I would like to be in touch with Frank Abbott and Mr. Morris Richardson to complete that task.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, sir.
Could I ask a
Good
question?
man.
When you
Yes.
say
Yes.
competition course,
Yes.
what is that? Tell me what that entails. I'm just boy,
competition
sorry.
course would be a street course, a drag strip, a dirt course, a pump track, which would be for BMX bikes and such. This would be on the scale of Olympic level tracks for all the respective sports. Also to include aerial tracks for drone racing and RC scaled down for first person view racing. I think that would be more of a hit for the kids to be able to learn racing before they get into a vehicle themselves. And then the aerial track would be great because it's not causing a hazard or risk to NASA and things of that nature, which have no-fly zones.
I'm curious, the drag strip, how long does that have to be in the modern era?
Other tracks are comparable to quarter miles, half mile. A street course could take up as much of 100 acres. I would feel to include each and every track. 500 acres to 1,000 acres would be the absolute bare minimum, and then you would have to include parking infrastructure, frontage for stores, things of that nature. So 1,500 acres, I feel, would be a great starting bid for potentially getting Brevard County land improved to be that of better than.
Not that far away from us is Bithlow.
Correct. Bithlow is primarily only a quarter mile track. This would not include street courses, dirt courses, aerial courses, and I've reached out to them to see if they would like to expand their mission and to include partnerships that would help assemble that. And they've denied that. They have no aim for growth, and they're also not in Brevard County. So that revenue, those events, would still be lost.
Thank you, sir.
Quite welcome. Any other questions?
Okay, Commissioner Pritchett, you have a question?
I think it sounds like a very fun idea. So I think if you will go out and find investors and you can start working on that, and then we could get a plan. I might be willing to consider zoning changes, but you're going to have to go out first and find some investors and find some funds.
Certainly.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you very kindly.
All right. Board reports. County Manager.
I have no report.
County Attorney.
No report, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Pritchett.
Thank you, sir. I did want to just mention one thing. We just came out of a very heated meeting, and I do understand people need to say what they need to say. I totally get it. I think that we put up the Pledge of Civility a long time ago, and I think just to remind people not to get personal when they want to state their opinion. Ms. Sullivan, you do pretty good with a strong opinion without yelling at people or typically getting personal with people. So I just want to commend you on that. But I think we have a couple people right now that are really crossing the line. And I wanted to mention I was very uncomfortable with the personal attack on our staff. They don't deserve that. you know, we signed up for it, we're thick-skinned and we deal with it, but county staff, it's just out of bounds. And so I want to apologize to all the county staff that had to deal with that. It kind of caught me off guard, and I give you my word that I'm going to be very strong and proactive of not letting you guys ever get beat up again like that on personal attacks. So that's just what I wanted to say. And commissioners, you are wonderful people, and I thank you for your integrity in all that you do, and you guys bring a lot to the table. And I wanted to mention too, commissioners should be able to have conversations up here and talk without being mocked from the front. And I don't know how to do this, but most of the time when this is happening, there's mocking going from out there. Commissioner Steele, you've handled it beautifully, but I'm really getting thin on the way they're treating you as well. So I just wanted to mention that, sir. So if you need my support on anything different you want to do, you certainly have it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Goodson.
None, sir.
Commissioner Tabaya. Commissioner Feltner.
No report.
Commissioner Steele, no report. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
So made.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Meeting is adjourned.
The opinions expressed by any member of the public during any period of public comment do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, or the program sponsor, and are solely those of the presenter. The Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, and the program sponsor hereby expressly disclaim any and all responsibility or liability for any defamatory or slanderous statements expressed by any member of the public during any such period.